What's up, millennials? So last Thursday was supposed to be the day where people were able to vote on the merger between Switchback Energy and ChargePoint, of course, but unfortunately not enough people had voted. So the merger is now delayed by 2 weeks. What I want to do in this video is, first of all, I'm going to take a look at what happened exactly. Then we're going to take a look at how you can vote if you haven't done so yet. And I'm also going to take a look at the valuation again and also a look at the technical analysis part. Let's first take a look at what happened exactly last Thursday. First of all, we can see that the required quorum, as they call it, beautiful word, had not been reached on Thursday. We can see that the holders of approximately 45% of the amount of outstanding shares had submitted proxies to vote, and that is simply not enough. They need a majority. Now, I'm not 100% sure if this needs to be a simple majority of just 51%, or if it actually needs to be like a 2/3 majority. I have not been able to discover that just yet, so if you know about that, then definitely let me know in the comments. A good thing, however, is that of that 45% of the amount of outstanding shares, well, 99.9% of the proxies received had been voted in favor of the transaction. So that is, of course, pretty good news. The question, though, is why were there not enough votes in the end? I think this has multiple reasons, actually. First of all, I think that there are many new investors, and all of these new investors don't know how to vote. They should have received an email with instructions on how to vote, but I'm not sure if that's happened, if that is actually what happened, sorry. And I think I've also read few comments, multiple comments on other YouTube videos of people saying, well, I have never received a link. I've never received any instructions for voting. Personally, I didn't receive any instructions either from my platform, De Giro, where I hold my Switchback Energy shares, my SBE shares. And it's actually funny because there might also be people like me that wanted to vote but didn't vote in the end. And I'm going to explain to you why I didn't vote just yet. The thing is, back in November, I wanted to vote as well on the combination of Luminar with, I believe, GMHI. You might remember that one as well. And in that email, I also said, well, I also want to vote on the merger between Switchback Energy and ChargePoint. Well, De Giro said the following, basically. They said, we are the only ones who can vote on your behalf. We could do that via our custodian, but it's going to cost you 10 euros. If you agree, please let us know what you want to vote. And I was like, 10 euros? So each SPAC merger that I want to vote on, I need to pay you 10 euros to simply transmit a vote? Seemed a little bit unreasonable to me, to be very honest with you. And I also thought at that point, well, it's probably not going to be needed because I don't hold like thousands of shares or anything like that. And I thought that enough people would vote, so my vote wouldn't be as important. Well, that didn't turn out to be the case, especially with Switchback Energy. So what I did now is I sent an email to the company that is organizing this whole voting system, but I haven't replied, or I haven't received a reply since Friday just yet. So I might update you on that later on. Then let's talk a little bit about how to vote. First question is actually, when are you entitled to vote? When are you able to vote? Well, as we can see over here, first of all, they say voting is easy, so that is a good thing already. They say if you owned Switchback Energy shares as of the close of business on December 16th of 2020, you are entitled to vote, okay? December 16th, that is the date on which you need to have your shares. If you didn't, you're not going to be able to vote. If you owned before the December 16th and you sold before December 16th, you're not going to be able to vote. If you didn't own anything on December 16th and you started buying after that date, you're not going to be able to vote. So only if you had shares on this day, on December 16th of 2020, then you are entitled to vote. And you need to do that as soon as possible, but at least before February 25th, the 25th of February, which is going to be the next day of the meeting. So the next meeting when they are going to hold the vote. Okay, then the question is, how are you going to vote? Well, they say there are 3 methods, and these are the 2 easiest ways to vote, and they are both free, as they say. Well, in my case, it wasn't free, so I'm not sure exactly when, if that is actually free for me as well, but hey. Let's take a look. So you can vote online. They highly recommend this one. You should receive instructions that are provided via your broker. I honestly didn't get those instructions. So if you didn't get those instructions, please contact your broker, ask for these instructions instead. You can also vote by telephone, so basically the same thing. You would have needed to get some instructions from your broker, and then you could have voted by telephone. And you can also simply mail the vote that you would like to do. Then you also would need to have gotten some instructions from your broker, and you can vote by just mail as well. So yeah, it's very important that you get these instructions from your broker. If you didn't, please contact your broker. And if you need help, you can call this company, Moro Sadali. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but that's like the company that is organizing this whole thing. It's called the Proxy Solicitor. Beautiful name. You can call them at this number over here that is on the screen right now, or you can send them a message to the email address that is right here on the screen right now as well. So as I've said, I've already sent an email last Friday, and unfortunately I haven't received a reply just yet. And again, when is the entire voting going to take place? Well, the special meeting is going to take place on February 25th, as I've just said before as well. It's going to start at 10 a.m. Eastern time. And it's going to be held live on the webcast that is right here on this website over here on the screen right now as well. So I hope that helps you a little bit. I hope that, yeah, now you know more or less how you're going to vote. Basically, the conclusion is, if you haven't gotten instructions from your broker, contact them and make sure that you're going to vote. So honestly, I do think we need some kind of change of this voting system, because just not enough people actually knew how to vote, or they didn't even know that they had to vote, right? So I think that we need more awareness as well, because the thing is that we have now very many new investors, I would say, and these people are not entitled or are not accustomed rather to voting. And these people, yeah, maybe you don't need to send them an email, but maybe you need to go on social media, for example, as well, on Instagram, on TikTok, on Reddit, on stock tweets, to let them know how to vote and when to vote. And honestly, I also think it's quite insane that I have to pay 10 euros to be able to vote. I think that voting should just be democratized entirely. Everyone should be able to do this for free. So De Giro, if you're listening, please change this. Make sure that we can all vote for free, so we can all cast our votes for this merger. Then a quick update with regards to the valuation. So this sheet can be found if you are on the Discord. You can actually find this sheet in the SPACs channel. If you go to that SPACs channel, you're going to find some pinned messages, and one of those pinned messages is this Google Docs document over here. So this is a document where I track all the SPACs that I've done valuation videos for. Switchback Energy, of course, was one of the first companies that I've done a valuation video for. So that is also in here. And basically, this list is now sorted by the most undervalued to the most overvalued. As you can see, Switchback Energy SBE is a little bit on the lower end, so it is slightly overvalued compared to the fair price, the fair midpoint price per share. But again, you do need to take into account that when I did this valuation video, multiple tailwinds hadn't happened just yet. So that could actually mean that ChargePoint could actually grow faster, and the valuation could be higher as well. We didn't know that Biden was going to be president and that he was going to push EV adoption a lot. We also didn't know about multiple countries and cities banning fossil fuel cars by 2025, 2030. So these are all tailwinds for ChargePoint to grow even faster in the next coming years, I think. But I will say, though, that I think that TPGY, for example, EV Box, is still a better deal compared to ChargePoint. Then if we do some quick technical analysis, we're going to find a few things. First of all, we see that Switchback Energy has been going a little bit sideways in the last couple of weeks, in the last couple of months even. It seems to be trading within this symmetrical triangle, so that basically means that we're making lower highs. So this is a high, lower high, lower high, lower high, but also on the other hand, higher lows. So a low over here, higher low, higher low, higher low. So there we go, a symmetrical triangle over there. It currently is also sitting right on top of the 55 exponential moving averages, the moving average, which is a very useful tool usually to determine some major support points. As we can see right here, SBE also used the 55 EMA as a major support. So let's see if the 55 EMA can actually hold. If it does close below this 55 EMA, I would actually expect a larger move to the downside, possibly even going to $26, but that would be a stretch probably. But yeah, I do think we would see a larger move if we close below this white line, this 55 EMA. If we zoom out a little bit, we can also see that the indicators have been reset quite a bit. So whereas SBE has gone sideways, the RSI, for example, has trended downwards. So that is usually a pretty good, pretty good move. That is called like a bullish reset. We can also see that the stochastics have come down, and also MACD has come down quite a bit. So that is actually usually a good move. I think when we see all these indicators going back up again, so the RSI going back up again above this white line over here, and also the MACD going back up again above this orange line, the signal line, then I do think that we could see some more higher ends on with regards to SBE stock, right? And apart from technical analysis, also keep in mind the video that I made a few weeks ago about what happens after a SPAC merger actually closes, because usually what happens is it either goes down right away after the ticker symbol has changed, or it goes up a little bit, a few days it goes up a little bit, and then it starts to go down. So that is also what we could see happening with ChargePoint in 2 weeks' time. Of course, that's not a guarantee, but it is something that we could see happening for sure. Okay, so if you held shares on December 16th of 2020, you are entitled to a vote. So make sure if your broker hasn't contacted you just yet, make sure you contact your broker to find out what the instructions are for you to vote. And if you have any friends who are also investing in SPACs like SBE, please make sure to share this video with them as well, so they know exactly how to vote as well. And that way we can make sure that we are actually going to see this merger happening between Switchback Energy and ChargePoint on February 25th, which is the date of the next special meeting. With that being said, thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye!